into a series on the problems of philosophy, and the reason we're going to do that, the reason that's relevant to our series of presuppositional videos is because every worldview has to address, has to encounter, has to provide answers for what's generally considered problems of philosophy, which is the driving force behind philosophy for the last several thousand years, is trying to make an accounting, a justification for the various issues that we're going to encounter, like our sense perception, the existence of rational laws in a contingent universe, laws in general. These types of things are issues that everyone has to engage with. They have to, if they're going to be honest, if they're not just being slothful in their minds, they have to provide some answer for these issues, these problems in the history of philosophy. And we're going to kind of use as a reference, sort of as an outline, we're going to use a book by a philosopher. His name's Bertrand Russell. He's a British philosopher, atheist, so really smart man, but an atheist. But we're going to use his outline as kind of a famous outline. It's a book that he's got. You can read that. Problems of Philosophy, Bertrand Russell. You can check it out. It's small, concise, and he kind of nails down the various issues that philosophers have had to try to wrestle with down through history. And what we would argue is that issues that have not been answered yet, excluding the Christian faith. If you take the Christian faith into account, you do have answers for these things. And so that's sort of where our presuppositional argumentation goes. It applies to it. It's addressing the problems of philosophy. And so everyone has to, in their own minds, they have to have, if they're trying to be rational, they've got to have answers for these problems. They can't just ignore them. And that's what most people generally tend to do, is they don't think about their philosophy, they don't think about problems of philosophy, they don't think about incoherence in their own worldview. They just assume and live their life. And as Christians, we have to challenge them on that. We have to cast down their imaginations. We have to say, there are issues with your worldview that you have to consider, that you have to be aware of. And so if you can get an idea of these things down, you can use them in your apologetics to point out errors, to point out weaknesses and flaws in their worldview, and then show them how the Christian faith has those answers that they need to account for these issues. So we're going to proceed with that and try to work through some of these problems, all right?